All right. Welcome into another edition of Spaghetti and Meatballs, episode number 4. Hosts Trevin and John.
We're back, baby.
What do you say, buddy? I know it's been a.
Hey, you know what? We had a little work situation, a little home situation. We got we got a lot of balls up in the air.
Yeah, a few scheduling conflicts. So. Apologies. Yeah, apologies on our end, but we're here. We're ready to go. Lots of content.
Yeah, we got a lot of content. I know out of all our listeners, people are like, where's the pod? It's Wednesday. Why am I not seeing the pod?
They've been looking. Yep.
Send me a link. And I know one in particular, Frank Murray's he's concerned.
I've heard from him. You have heard from him. Yeah. So we appreciate, Frank, you listening. Don't worry. We're here. We're going to scratch that itch for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're here to scratch it. So
I'd also like to give just a little shout out to Josh Thumb, a.k.a. Scumbag Thumbag. We are it's out there. Here it is, man. We're coming for you. So just thanks for listening, guys. And here it is.
Josh Thumb, man.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in too long.
Well, yeah, he's out there. So and he's
still out there.
He wants the content. So let's kick it off.
All right.
We got the circus trip starting, and we don't got Vooch. What do you think? I mean,
well, it's gonna be a real test.
Yeah.
Even with Vooch, obviously, it'd have been a real test, but it's especially at a position where we already don't have a whole lot of depth. It's
and you and I were firing back and forth. I don't know if it was during the Nets game or the Mavs game the other night, and it seems like he's being a little more aggressive.
He has been, and yeah, in that fourth quarter in that Nets game seemed to carry over into the Mavs game the other night, and he wasn't hesitant.
No,
he when he was kind of shaky there for a while, he'd kind of think and then go. Like you said, he was just aggressive and he went for it. And they're making an effort to get him going early. It seems they're trying to find him some easy shots in the early.
I know that he was, after that he had a little cold stretch there against the 2 back-to-back losses versus Philly. And it was the Nets game, and Lonzo kicked it to him and had to almost persuade. It was shoot the ball, and he shot it. Like, let's go.
Yes, exactly. Get that confidence going. And you could see he was definitely hesitant there for a few games.
But you and I have commented back and forth, he can get that little, jump hook from either side of the lane anytime he wants it.
Anytime.
Porzingis to town.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but as we also said, we always keep it real with you guys. Vooch is a defensive liability.
He is a liability.
And I hate always. I don't want to throw this in your face, but Vooch is your guy.
Yeah, I do. I do love Vooch. To all our listeners out there.
Yeah, and I was
if it's not obvious yet, I'm a big Vooch fan.
And I was just like, Trevin, your guy better get it going offensively because he's such a liability offensively. But now I think he really is. He stepped it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got that message through to one of my insiders, and he message received. So
yeah. It went through channels and he got it. Like, obviously, he got it.
He got it. Exactly.
So, we got Vooch stepping up more aggressively, but now he's out 10 games, and now we got to see. I mean, who are they putting in? Is Tony Bradley starting, or are we going even smaller? We're already a small lineup. So,
yeah, and fortunately, with this trip coming up, there's not a lot. I mean, you got Jokic eventually when you get to Denver, but there's not a lot of dominant big men. There's not, especially the Warriors tonight is a pretty small lineup. But even without him, when he wasn't shooting, he still does so much for the offense.
Right.
With setting screens, with the assists and stuff, rebounding. Obviously, he still has been one of the top rebounders. But yeah, it's, fortunately, there's not any true dominant big men that we're going to be facing, but it is going to be hard to fill that void. I know that I'm assuming Johnson will get a little bit more time in the rotation, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be interested tonight. Normally KC tweets out something about the starting lineup. He's ahead of us. We're usually second after KC to get it out there. It's like Billy Donovan to KC, and then it's us. So we'll get it out there to you guys when we hear it. But it's just, we already got Javonte in there for Patrick Williams. But I'll tell you what, I said it to you in the text, going back and forth too. It's a scary sight, Javonte Williams on KD and Porzingis, but the guy holds his own.
He does. He's not afraid to back, he doesn't back down.
No.
He's not afraid to get right up in your face and take him on. So I just, it's kind of the same thing like we've said, is how long can we get these kind of unexpected performances, from him, from the whole bench as a unit. But, because fortunately with Vooch, it's not an injury that's going to keep him out long term, but it kind of goes to show you that, how quickly one injury specifically to him, I think, could really derail the whole flow of the offense. Not just him, but,
I get the positive we have, as we said during our little pre-show meeting, I should say, is that we got Kobe White coming back. Again, we went through the channels. Billy to KC to us said they're going to insert him slowly in rotation. So we got Kobe. He's going to give us some scoring.
Yeah, and I would assume that would be his prime. I'm sure the minutes will be short at first, but come in, get a few shots, and try and get as hot as he can, as soon as he can. Right. Because that would be a huge another addition to that second unit.
Right. And we were also saying this is the way Iowa's playing right now, he's almost a must insert player off the bench. And I really, I was happy with the draft pick, but I didn't see this coming.
No, me neither. I thought maybe he could contribute more towards the middle of the season, but definitely not to the level that he's shown so far in the first 11 games or so.
Right. And can I interrupt for 1 second here? It seems on my end I'm experiencing a little technical difficulties. The sound's there, but the video's not. I don't know what you got on your end.
Yeah, I got you frozen on here. I can hear everything fine, but
yeah, well, I'm just gonna power through.
We're just gonna keep going.
We touched on the Vooch situation. Oh, I think we're back. But I just can't underestimate or talk enough about Alex Caruso right now.
Oh, he's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
He was all over the place the other night. What do you have, 6 steals?
Yeah, and that's where I really enjoyed watching him fighting through these screens on the defensive end. I know we probably get into it later, but I think we can all say he was probably, if he didn't have the pasta dish of the week, the alley-oop to DeRozan, he was part of.
That's an honorable mention.
Yes. If there was 2 assists like hockey, he'd get it.
Yes, exactly. The assist to the assist.
Yeah, we all love the 360, but he was down there trapping, getting it to Lonzo, Peyton Manning over to Zach for the 360.
Yeah. That he was fully horizontal on that play. He's all out, and you gotta love to see it. The Bulls fans, they love that blue collar. They love that work ethic, that mentality of just
he was
all out scrapping for it.
He was like going like this, like, give me some.
Yeah.
Fans, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Let me hear it.
Yeah.
Let me hear it. I know what you got.
Loved it.
I know you love it.
So we got, we talked about the infamous circus trip coming. We got Golden State tonight. I think we go back to back with the 2 LA teams. Is there Denver in between that?
No, Denver isn't until let's see. Yeah, we got the Warriors, and then we got the Clippers and the Lakers on back-to-back Sunday and Monday, and then I believe it's Portland next Wednesday.
So we got a tough 5-game stretch here. You and I never like to damper expectations, but if we can come out 2-3, 3-2, I'm pumped out of that 5-game stretch here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Inserting Kobe White, getting him some minutes, I mean, I'd be pumped.
Yeah. I think before Vooch went out, I would have been happy with 2 and 3. I know that doesn't sound great. And another thing too is just how they're going to look against that competition consistently.
Well, for years now, I mean, since LeBron at least has left the East, it's back to when the West is the dominant. The West is the dominant. And we're atop the East with the Wizards, who I don't think are for real. But we're here to stay. And I'm interested to see how we measure up against some dominant West teams.
I agree. I think it'll be a good test for sure. Again, without Vooch, it's not a true, you can't, when you don't have your full squad, but still, I think that competition on a regular basis for the next couple weeks it'll be good for them. I think it'll be, even if they come back 1 and 4, if in those 4 losses, they were competitive games, they stayed with them, I'm not going to be too upset about that.
No, and because I go back to 4 games ago, we're starting to back the home and away versus Philly, and those 2 losses, we came out so lackluster and slow to begin with. I know you and I are texting like, well, yeah, now they're crawling back into it, but how many times can we do this 18 points down and saying, the Boston time was great, know? But and then the next 2 games, they really kicked up the energy, kicked up the enthusiasm level. Yeah,
no doubt. And that actually, I'm going to relay that right into the pasta dish of the week, because I think it wasn't so much, it was a good assist, but it was more the timing of it. So we're going to go back to Monday night against the Nets.
Hit me with
early in the game, first couple of minutes, tied 3-3, rebound, get it to Lonzo Ball. His eyes are looking up court, and Zach just runs. He knows that when that rebound comes, he eyes up, gets it up, a little double flick of the wrist right to him. And I think I normally like to do an assist, in a half court set or something like that. But I think the timing of it and just, kind of the push that it gave them to start that game, because they went on to score 30 some points in that first quarter. So
and then we had a huge fourth quarter that night. I believe we outscored them. Was it 42-18 or 42-17?
42-17, I believe. Yeah.
I mean, so if we're closing games like that, and we can start with that energy, because we're notoriously strong finishers, at least these first 11 games.
Yeah. Yep.
So we bring that energy tonight. We bring that energy these next 4 or 5 games. I know we're going to be struggling without Vooch, but I don't see a reason why we can't go 2 and 3, 3 and 2. We go 3 and 2, and somebody better start putting some respect on the name.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like it's already getting around. I heard Tim Hardaway Jr. After the game the other night say, "The Bulls are back.
The Bulls are back.
The Bulls are back, baby."
Yeah.
So they're definitely starting to get recognized a little bit more league wide.
And I might be looking more long term here, but I think a comment like that from an opposing player, you start to see the culture turning around. Are we getting some big name free agents saying, "Wait a minute, what's going on over in the Windy City?"
Yeah, I don't. I can't see how it would hurt. I mean, I think with everything they've got going on over there, and it's one thing to be in the organization and to feel that and know that, but to be outside of the organization and to see that from another player's perspective, I think that says a lot.
So let me come at you. I wrote down a couple hard-hitting questions.
Ooh, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, I know.
All right. What do you got?
Where do you see Io fitting into this team with the reinsertion of Kobe White into the rotation? That was the first one.
Great question.
Yeah. Well,
I see him, as we've stated earlier. I mean, he's shown that he's got a spot. Even with Kobe coming back, he's earned a spot in the rotation. I would like to see him still get 12 to 15 minutes a game coming in there to be able to pair with Kobe White, when he comes back and gets going. And so I still definitely see, hopefully, if he continues this up, I don't see why not. I see a solid contribution all season long.
And I agree with you. I mean, does everyone like the hometown kid, the feel-good story? Of course we do. But we're not going to love it if you're not producing. And the kid's been producing.
Mm-hmm.
He's hit some timely threes. He's slashing, getting to the rim. He's helping out defensively. He's bringing a spark with that second unit. So I think you're right. I think we could even see a time where those two are in the backcourt together. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as long as he doesn't fall in love with the three and thinking that he's going to become an offensive threat, if he can continue to do this where he's picking his spots and he's getting open looks at a three and making a little slash through the lane at the right time. And I mean, he's all over him on defense too. With him and Caruso in there together, it's you just see what it. I mean, kind of going over to Caruso here, but I just wanted to say something because it just popped in my head. What he did to James Harden on Monday night in that part of that fourth quarter,
right?
That 42-7.
The Bears was frustrated.
Yeah. Oh, and he pestered him the whole way up the court. And yeah, I looked at the stats shortly after on what Harden shot during that fourth quarter when Caruso was guarding him. I don't remember him, but it was not pretty.
No. Okay, you ready for number 2?
What do you got?
Okay, this is, but it can even be more applicable now. Before the Vooch news, do the Bulls need to make a move to acquire another big? And I want to tell you my rationale for thinking that is Vooch is not your traditional big. He's a stretch 5. We got really Tony Bradley's the only big. We got Alize Johnson coming in playing the 4 at 6'8", 6'9". We got Javonte Green at the small forward at 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I could see that at some point in the future because, I mean, if Vooch goes down, I mean, again, knock on wood, but kind of this with the COVID and him missing the next couple of weeks, it kind of gives you a glimpse as to kind of how shallow that depth is there in the front court.
For sure.
So I would, I mean, I guess
look at your crystal ball. I know you got those guys. Your sources have been texting you all day from the Birdo Center. They were there last week at practice. They hear things. AK talks to your guys.
Yeah, I mean directly. I actually had to turn the phone off earlier. I mean, it was coming in too hot. Yeah. The question right now is who? They're, I mean, they don't.
It's too early in the season to say like
that's what I was going to.
Peter, and can we make an offer here? So okay, that's fair enough.
But I do think that at some point, I mean, my feeling is yes. I feel that they should at some point make a move.
So next part I want to transition into here is I just want to look ahead a little bit these next couple games and say, here's what I'm excited for. Yes, you got a backcourt of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You got James White. It's a good team. But in the past, we haven't had this defensive pressure that we can give Steph with Lonzo Ball, notorious good defender. You bring Caruso off the bench with that second unit. Do they leave Clay in? Do they leave Steph in? And he's on them.
Yeah.
So it's not the same as before. Are they always a threat? Yeah, Steph can pull up, the minute he's in the gym. Same thing with Klay Thompson. But
they're not going to be easy shots. They're not going to be easy looks tonight.
Yep.
If they're going off for 30, 40 points, then they're earning it because they're going to be
I'm with you.
They're going to be pestering them all night.
We got that. About this Vooch thing because I would have loved to see a matchup against Jokic and AD. But what can we do?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about AD.
So, that's just something I'm looking forward to,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a fun next week. Just this whole season. You can't – it's nice to be able to look forward to a Bulls game,
Have you you had a chance to look at tonight's spread? I know we like to sprinkle a little – we call it the Parmesan cheese of our little lineup here. So I don't know if you got some numbers for me. Yep, sprinkle it.
Little sprinkle. Yeah, hang on. I had it right here.
It's just – yeah.
All right, we got the Bulls getting 5.5, so plus 5.5.
With no Vooch, the Bulls, and it's only 5. That's telling, 5.5.
Right? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous about that line.
Yeah, I don't think I would have anything to do with that.
No.
I got the over at 222.5.
Okay.
Now, Golden State plays some pretty good defense too.
They do.
I believe that they have the number 1 rated team defensive efficiency.
Well, but I think we need to take advantage of our big guards and say, okay, Steph, let's meet you down in the post. And whether it's Lonzo, whether it's Zach, whether it's DeMar, even Io is 6'5", 6'6", so we're really
a little bit of size, for sure.
I really like to see him put the pressure on there. And Wiseman's going to be a good player, but the kid's 19, 20 years old, so let's see what we can take advantage of him defensively. Yeah,
I agree. That's another spot where, man, it'd be nice to have Vooch to see to go against him. But they called up the
Marco's from the Windy City Bulls. So Do I think the guy gets any PT? Yeah, maybe some garbage time. Nah.
Yeah, he might get a few minutes here and there. Yeah, but I don't know. It's going to be a good game tonight. I'm looking forward to watching it. Yeah, and just seeing how they
on national TV. I think is it ESPN or is it NBA TV?
I think it is ESPN.
It's not local. There's no local coverage tonight.
No, it's ESPN. I think I saw earlier.
Yeah. So as we always tell you guys, feel free, text us, give our numbers out to your friends who are watching, listening, loving the show, because this thing, like I had Apple Podcasts saying, like you guys are climbing the charts, like people want more.
The Ascension, they're pretty amazed at just the rate.
Yeah.
It's a steep incline.
Yeah, it's like
of listeners per week. So it's
and we got similar viewers that are like watching Joe Rogan's pod and tuning into Joe Rogan.
Yeah, hey, when are you gonna get the MeatBULLS on? When are you gonna get the MeatBULLS on?
We're working on it. We got our own lives too, people.
Exactly. I mean, it's, you can only ask so much.
So you gave the pasta dish of the week out earlier.
Yes.
And I'm with you. I'm with you. And I don't know if we need another creative play on words to just talk about the defensive turnovers into the pass that Caruso has caused, because that's the garlic bread to me right there.
Oh, I think you just figured it out. That's that perfect little sign after you get a nice mouthful, a little bit of the pasta, and nom nom.
You might even soak a little of that delicious, little marinara sauce up with that.
Yep, do a little dipping. Oh yeah, now you're talking. Because it is. I love seeing. I mean, that second unit, how they come in and the way that they're able to use that defense and transition it into offense, and
they haven't backed down from anybody.
No, No, they haven't. And we haven't even mentioned Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah, he's
he
been contributing with some solid minutes. He got hit in the eye,
Yep.
came in. He still hit 2 free throws the other night against Brooklyn.
It's not going to affect him.
No. He's
not
a
gonna keep
scrapper.
him
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Dana Vinci's old favorite player, James Johnson. I don't know if
sure.
So
I can see
had a
that.
black belt.
Yeah.
You know,
You didn't want to mess with him.
No, with that guy. So I think, we touched on a lot of hot topics tonight. We touched on the Vooch injury, the bench development, Caruso's role. What are we going to do with Kobe White? I mean, we had a lot of insight here tonight.
Yeah, we touched on a lot of stuff. I think that it was a good last week, and I'm looking forward to this week coming up, because the more consistent performances that we can string together here, I think the better it's going to be in the long run for him.
Yeah, see red.
See red, baby.
Before we log off here, I just ask, guys, I know you're loving the show. Could you hit like and subscribe for us?
Come on, it's not that hard.
Like and subscribe.
Just
give us some comments. Give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. So, you have any closing thoughts?
No, not really. I mean, nothing that we haven't touched on. I think over the next 5 games, a 2-3, 3-2 record, and we'll be back next Wednesday to break it down and tell you, let you know what we thought.
Yeah. So sounds good. So guys, hope you enjoyed this episode of Spaghetti and Meatballs.
Spaghetti and Meatballs out.
Sign it off. Till next week.
See ya.